Alrighty then. Here we are for round 4 with blue-green LD, and we are on the play against mystery opponent. This hand's not ideal since we're not doing anything until turn 3, but at least we are on the play, so we can sort of get away with it. Hopefully this isn't a Delver. It's not a Delver, which is nice. If it was a Delver, I'd say we're probably like 90% to lose this game. These aren't super. But, you know, it's fine. So we're in the draw spells part of the game already. It looks like the opponent might have kept a one-lander, in which case there might be desperately seeking. Ooh, a Boilworks! I'm so excited for the Boilworks to be the card that played there. Like, if they just played basic land Delver, I think we were in trouble. Even if you just played basic land Fairy Miscreant, like the Thermokarsts just could get dazed and they wouldn't lose anything. But this buys us so much time. And then we get to follow up with Spider into Self-Assembler, into Self-Assembler, Self-Assembler. So if indeed they were land light, they could easily be quite a long way away from being able to put up a fight against this vicious beatdown. Drake only plays, 4 Preordains usually, as their 1 mana filtering. So this is obviously like the best they can hope for, considering like they probably, because they keep bottoming, so they're probably definitely looking for lands. So hopefully I can like get to 6. So it's possible here I should have not played this, instead playing Growth Chamber, because then I could have guaranteed playing Self-Assembler into Mold Shambler. But I figured that if I draw either an untapped land or a Sylvan Ranger or like even like Coiling Oracle. Okay, so there's Ponders now, so maybe they're on like the blue-red like control deck that popped up recently. Or maybe they're just like a Delver deck splashing red. Or something along those lines. But I mean, maybe they're just on like a more filter-based Drake deck, which would obviously make a lot of sense too. I still think the opponent may not have another land, so I'm just going to try and put as much of clock in play as possible, rather than like play Coiling Oracle and Simic Growth Chamber that turn. And there's only, I mean, they can obviously have their hand could be just a ton of Flame Slashes, and this is gonna actually just give them enough time to recover than, more time than me just casting Mold Shambler next turn for sure. But I think it's okay. I mean, we can obviously still just draw Acid Moss or Thermokarsts or Springs, or any of these things, and just LD them this turn as well. So I think it's reasonable to play Self-Assembler. Utopia Sprawl. That doesn't really do anything for us in particular this turn. So we can like just play another Self-Assembler, Utopia Sprawl, Simic Growth Chamber, or we can play Coiling Oracle to try and hit an LD spell. But I think it's best to just do this stuff and probably Mold Shambler them next turn. I mean, if their remaining hand is this like land counterspell and like full combo, then we can still lose this game, even though we did LD and Izzet Boilerworks, but with all the all the filtering the opponent played, they managed to dig out of the hole that we put them in. Is this a careful consideration? Just a ghostly flicker? That doesn't seem like a great plan to me. If they just left up the ghostly flicker, then they would be able to counter the land destruction effect. But perhaps the opponent doesn't realize that particular use of ghostly flicker, since it doesn't come up all that often. Just playing it to activate Seagate Oracle and gain a life is usually a reasonable option to take. So obviously we could play Ulamog's Crusher this turn, but I'm kind of feeling like we don't actually need to. I'm going to go ahead and play Coiling Oracle, although I probably should have played it the other way around, just in case this version does have days. I guess I'm just going to double down on not playing around days. Since we don't have any real reason to think we should need to. Opponent is getting clocked pretty hard here, though. And, like, they do actually need a whole 5 mana before they can kill you, because they need to get Drake onto the table. They do know about this Temporal Spring in my hand, though, so that's mildly irritating. So I think how this works out is, like, they can, like, chump block the Self-Assembler, and because if they have a counterspell for Temporal Spring, that's bad. But I suspect they do. So let's say they have a counterspell for that, then they block this, then take 6 and don't die. So I'm going to lead with Temporal Spring anyway, because that makes it whatever's happening, if they don't have a counterspell for this, I think they're dead. I mean, whether we counter the Seagate Oracle, to try and get lethal, doesn't matter. Okay, so they obviously didn't have a counterspell. Assuming it did get counterspelled, however, then we would play Coiling Oracle to reveal Mulldrifter. So we could have still died there. Like, that's how, even though you think you're doing well against Drake, sometimes you still get killed because you can't remove everything. So I'll take out these. But we don't know if they're on the Stone Rain version or not. But considering that the Stone Rain one is maybe not as common as I think it is, like, maybe I shouldn't be playing around it quite so hard. On the other hand, like, I'm fine with having like one of these just to hedge. That also works against basically Pyroblast. It's like the only spell in their deck that it hits if they don't have Stone Rain. But I guess that's as a very specific dispel. I guess it's not the absolute worst. I have noticed some of the decks moving towards Giga Draws lately also. Wow, our opponent just didn't play a land turn 1. That's almost certainly a terrible misclick for them. He just kept in a lander? I mean, I'm all for wild ambition, but that doesn't seem like the best time. Like, they only went down to 6, right? Yeah, they went to 6 and bottomed. But I think I would probably rather go down to 5, because, like, if you just keep a 5 card hand with 5 lands in it. That's actually a pretty good hand against my deck. So we managed to beat Drake again. And come join me for round 5.